Got a 3040 Krag here that had been restocked by somebody back east. A beautiful stock. Way too expensive a stock to be putting on a Krag that's been reworked, but nonetheless, barrel receiver sitting down into the stock, safety would not engage. And once I got to looking at it, why, what it is the stock was not relieved enough right here. So unless you're really paying attention to what's going on and understand how they work, why somebody would have been real susceptible to start filing away on safety fit and everything when that wasn't the issue at all. That's one of the problems with some of this stuff, is you have to be able to diagnose what's wrong with it. So what we're going to do is just relieve this stock a little bit right here to make this fit, and the idea is going to be I want to start relieving it with the barreled action still in it to where I get clearance to where that safety will at least begin to engage, and then I'll pull it out of the stock and go ahead and smooth up the contours of it and get some finish back in there so it matches up. Like I say, it's a beautiful stock. You hate to start whittling on them, but if it doesn't work right, well, you're going to have to do what you've got to do. Now, the idea is going to be for me to be able to relieve this without scarring the bluing on the barrel of the receiver. Actually, it's on the receiver where it would be. If you're looking for problems like this when they do arise, that are going to become very evident if you just take the time to look rather than starting to grab your Fording tool or your Dremel. This one, once the bolt had been worked a little bit, you can see the marks where it's contacted. And since this had fairly fresh bluing on it, why, it was transferring a little bit of the oil on down to the marks on the stock. So if we can very carefully Okay, now I think we're far enough away from the receiver. I can go ahead and go in there with a burr and relieve a little bit more of that material. we want to take all of that contact out of there. Even once we get it to the point where the safety will engage, we don't want any contact between the bolt handle and the stock. Couple of things. One is it is going to affect accuracy. How much it's going to affect accuracy on a gun like this, probably not a whole lot. But the thing that does make a difference is it will crack out the stock. Under recoil with it there, it will continually batter that bolt handle against the back, and you'll see them split out here. And that's just from not having enough clearance. So fairly common. It's something you want to see, and it's not specific to Krags. It's anything that has that bolt contact like that can have that same problem. So I want to get it to where it doesn't have that contact I want to get it to close and engage the safety, and then when I pull it out of the stock, I'll go ahead and add a little more clearance to it. There we go. Almost there. We still got some contact right there, especially. There we go. Now I think it's time to go ahead and pull it out of the stock. We've got it to where the bolt closes. It safety engages freely. Does everything it's supposed to do there. There we go. So we'll pull it out of the stock. We'll go ahead and sand this. We'll lightly radius these edges, and I'm going to relieve just a little bit more at the back of this just to clear that bolt handle, so under recoil it doesn't hit there and pop that back corner. Anyway, that looks pretty good. Alright, now that's smoothed down, we should have clearance. Go ahead and get a little finish back on here. I tend to break these outer edges. We like them to be fairly crisp, but I also want to break them just a little bit because I think it helps the contour a little bit. It doesn't leave anything sticking out there that's going to grab and splinter off a piece. And I just think it looks nicer. Alright, there's our relief underneath where we've relieved it for our bolt handle. Now it clears. They've got clearance along the back, so we don't have to worry about that bolt recoiling and hitting that. Our safety engages and functions. Now remember, anytime you're working on any firearm, whether you're doing it for you, whether you're doing it for a friend of yours, or whatever the case may be, you better check all those safety features because you've just accepted responsibility for that firearm and any problem that arises with it. So you darn well better make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. All safeties work as they are supposed to because you are responsible for it. It comes back to personal responsibility. If you're working on your own guns, that's one thing. You do what you want. If you're working on somebody else's, you're accepting responsibility for them. Anyway, on the lighter side of things, this is all fitted back up for him. He'll be happy with this, and thanks for taking the time to watch. If you find these videos helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave any comments you've got for me, and give me a thumbs up if you like them.